So joining us today on our Olympian series is Kate Gynther, three-time Olympian, two-time bronze medalist. Welcome along.
Thanks for having me.
Let's go back to your first Olympic Games in 2004. Obviously, you had some of the girls out of the Sydney 2000 gold medal team went forward to 2004 in your first Olympics. That must be great having players of that experience to help you on your first time through.
Yeah, absolutely. It was amazing to be able to play with some of the girls who played in Sydney, and just sort of hear their stories and be able to get some of their experiences and what to expect for us going on to Athens. And yeah, it was fabulous.
So you go forward to 2008 and 12, and you have two epic battles for bronze with Hungary. They were great rivals in your career.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And I think even the whole way through my career, I still remember the Hungarians being one of the really good teams when I was playing juniors, and played, some of the girls I played in under 20s in the Hungarian team ended up playing in those two bronze medal matches. So I think great rivals the whole way through, but certainly a team I respected a lot in the way they play.
Out of your three Olympic Games, where do they sit with you? Obviously, winning two medals is pretty special, but just the experiences of three different games.
Look, they're three very different experiences for me. I think a question I get asked a lot is which one was your favourite? I still don't have an answer for it. They're all special in different ways and for different reasons. Obviously Athens being the first, it was only the second time women's water polo was in the Olympics. So that'll always be special. Beijing, the first medal for myself, personally. So that's obviously puts that one right up there. And then again, London for other completely different reasons beside the medal as well.
Yeah. And you got to play with your stepsisters, Mel and Beck Rippon, in 2008. That's a pretty special moment. I've actually got a nice photo of Mel giving you a kiss on the forehead. It must be maybe when you've won the bronze medal.
Yeah. Look, it was great to play with Mel and Beck, and then obviously Mel again in London. I think some people are surprised when they hear the story behind it and realise we weren't actually stepsisters for that long. So I think for me, it's actually more getting to play with your best mates, who just happen to be your stepsisters. Because we were all in the team before Mum and Steve actually got married, which I think a lot of people don't realise.
So yourself now, you're in the police force in Queensland. You've carved out a bit of a career for yourself outside of the sport.
Yeah.
If you're going to talk to young kids today that have an Olympic dream, what sort of advice would you give them?
Oh, look, I think if you've got that Olympic dream and it's something that you want to do, put everything you can into it. Especially a sport like water polo, I don't think it's something that you can do sort of halfway. So it's definitely something they should go for. For me, the police was something I eventually decided that I wanted to do and sort of needed to start thinking about my life after water polo. So I started that a couple of years before London, I guess before I knew I was going to retire after that Olympics. And it's been great. I've been at it for a bit over 10 years now, which is a bit hard to believe. But I think it's just great to have something else outside of the sport as well, whether it's water polo or another sport that you're playing, particularly if it's an amateur sport. You're never going to get rich and famous, unfortunately, playing water polo. But, you give your sport your all, but then you also have the other things that you can do outside of as well.
Kate, can you give us your most memorable Olympic moment, or there may be a couple?
Oh, look, I'm sure there are a few. There's definitely some that involve playing. Moments in games. I think definitely the penalty shootout in that bronze medal match in Beijing against the Hungarians. I think the way we got to that penalty shootout, first the extra time, being down and Beck Rippon scoring that, I think it was an extra man goal with 7 or 8 seconds to go in the game to draw it. So I think that for me is very, very memorable. And then there's a lot of stuff that's outside of the actual sport when you get to the Olympics. Being in the village, being in the accommodation with the whole Australian team, not just the water polo side of it. So being whether it's in the accommodation, you're sort of sharing a level of the apartment block with another sport. We had some of the cyclists, I think, on our level in London, and just getting to interact with people that you never normally would get to, and then just being part of the village as a whole, I suppose, seeing how big it is, how many people there are that are at the absolute top of their sport, and you're being so impressed by these people, maybe not realising that they feel the same way about your sport that you play. So I think that's really great.
Well, you were a great player when you were capping up in the pool and a great ambassador for Australia. So thanks for joining us.
No worries. Thanks a lot.